End of the day, I mean, I'm not defending any party. I'm not saying that, I mean, BJP is good or Congress is good. I have a very different perspective as a journalist, and for the journalists, I am defending a certain part of this journalist faction. The news is not news anymore for you.
Hmm.
You breathe, you live information. Posts about Cockroach Janta Party, that is also information. One of the biggest problems of our country is population. Population.
Thank you again for watching the Human Algorithm. And this is a very special episode because this I'm doing it with my brother, my neighbor, my younger brother, Shailendra Shukla. And while this wasn't supposed to be a professional conversation, it's just kind of a regular hangout that we are doing, to be honest. And we just thought that, let's just sit down together and discuss what's happening in the state of India. We just heard the news that Dharmendra Pradhan, the education minister, has now resigned from his position. So ideally, the entire flow and things that we want to discuss have completely changed. But anyways, getting straight down to the point, what I wanted to discuss in this podcast is that every generation is told that education is the key to success. And the main question is that if that's true, why are so many students anxious, unemployed, confused, and angry? Has India's education system stopped producing thinkers and started producing test takers? Today, we are not asking who to blame, we are asking a bigger question. What is education supposed to do? So, our guest today has lived two different careers united by one thing: storytelling. A drummer, percussionist for nearly 30 years, he has released two music albums, appeared on reality television, and headlined college fest and music festivals across India. From performing on stage before thousands to creating music that connects with audiences, his passion for the craft has remained constant. Academically, he is a computer science engineer and an alumnus of IIM Indore. Professionally, he took an unexpected turn into journalism, combining analytical thinking with a deep curiosity about the world. Today, he also runs the YouTube channel Shukla Gyan, where he shares insightful discussions and analysis on current affairs and social issues. With a rare blend of experience across technology, music, journalism, and digital media, he brings a perspective that's both creative and thought provoking. So, welcome, my brother, Shailendra Shukla. How's life, brother?
Hi. Life is good. A bit of a reality check and a lot of stuff happening at the background, be it political and learning at the personal level as well. So life is going good, pretty good.
That's
How are
interesting.
you?
I am good, brother, keeping it fit and healthy. And just to let the audience also know that we might giggle while we are having a conversation because I don't know if Shailen remembers or not. I'm a little older to him, but we've been raised together. So we were like literal brothers. For so many years, we have played together. Like we went to schools, we come back together, and it's it's an unaddressed fact that we are one of the best opening batsmen. The duo that ever existed in sectors of Gurgaon. Because if we are in the same team and if we open, I'm a left-handed batsman, he's a right-handed batsman, it was really hard for the opponent team to get us out. It was really difficult. I miss those times, brother. Like this was so
Yeah.
good. And then what we all decided was if we win the toss, we were supposed to be in the same team. So people ensured that we are in the separate team, and that's why the captain was different. So that if they get to decide a different player, they'll first choose Shailendra. So we were inseparable when it comes to sports, and that ran for quite a few years. Unfortunately, we don't have stats to prove. We didn't have social media back then, so no recordings, no recordings, nothing is there. It's just in the head, just in the memory. Second, you just said that life is going good. You're now married. You have a very beautiful kid. You're living in Greater Noida. So I'm happy to meet you, brother. Like it's a story that no one else knows because it's just us that knows the past that we have had. It's been quite a long of years that we have known each other together.
Yeah, likewise, that I'm glad that we are having this conversation. But those were some good times. No
Yeah.
internet, no social media, plenty of time to chat, plenty of time to run around the house, plenty of time to go to a park probably 2 kilometers away from home.
Yeah.
Morning walk, evening walk, and all those fights. And I mean, so I believe it's just the generation that we come from.
Yeah.
And I am glad that, you know, our generation is witnessing a mix of what our previous generation witnessed,
Yeah.
what we witnessed, and what the future generation is witnessing at the moment.
Witnessing. Yeah.
So glad that we got to experience all of those, cricketing times and football and whatnot.
Exactly.
But yeah, I
No,
mean,
but
it's
you're
good. I
so
mean,
right about this. So generally, what happens is I was talking to a friend of mine. He lives in Canada right now, Akhil, and he's from Sector 12. Do you know Sector 12, which is right behind Sector 14 and Sheetla Mata Mandir? I haven't been to Sector 12, so I don't know where that exactly is located. But then I was just telling him that there was a time during June, July, whenever the summer vacations used to happen, all of our kids in the community, you, Amit, Lokesh, Shivam ke chacha, I don't remember his name. We just call him Chacha ji. So we all used to go and run at around 3 a.m. in the morning. We used to ring the bells, call out everyone, and go and run. And that was the time that one greenery was there, the green belt was there. Pollution, the way it existed today, back then there was no sign of pollution. So 3 o'clock, if you go there, it's like a blessing. Even in Gurgaon, we used to go and run towards the Palam Vihar side. Things have completely changed. So you are absolutely right when you say that we were born in such an era that we got to experience Gurgaon in that phase. Today, the kids doesn't even know that Gurgaon was once like this kind of a city. We used to go to Sector 4 and 5 where Bluebells and Davy were there just to hang out. That damn, that's a premium place, bro. Like look at the girls who are standing here. Look at the guys who are standing there. So that was a premium place for us. But things have just completely changed right now. So you're right.
see, it's a perspective. So, I mean, the way I see it back in late 90s, maybe the country wasn't developed that much that we had that facility of owning a car. I mean,
Mm,
it depends how you see the country economically, socially. The way I see it, that country, if the country had been developed or the government could have worked in a different sense, the way it is working, or a different kind of government is working right now, maybe we could afford much more better car. There could have been more people affording cars, and there could be people driving cars in Gurgaon also. But
mm,
then the city was raw. There weren't too many houses. It wasn't developed that much. The earning
mm,
was there. I mean, where people could just afford just
mm,
earning and
mm,
feeding their families.
mm,
So, I mean, yeah, I that's how I see it, that it was great because things were really, raw.
mm,
There wasn't social media, there wasn't much to boast about, to show,
mm,
running
mm,
after people just to have them look at, what you are owning, the things
mm,
that you have. I mean, yeah,
mm.
we had cards, WWE cards, we had those cricketing cards, and we were so proud of it.
Those
But
bats and
then
stuff, MRF bat.
Britannia bat, yes. So,
No,
I mean,
makes
and
sense. Makes sense.
And I don't expect today's generation to understand what we experienced.
No, I agree, and that's what during the course of this, podcast, we'll check, and I'll try to understand from you as well, because see, you're facing the ground reality, and I'll talk about my perception as well. But before I talk about my perception, this is where I want to understand from a friend's perspective as well, because we have not been in touch for quite a long. You have moved and switched towards journalism. But what exactly was the moment or which year when you made drift towards politics and you got interested in politics? Like what was the transition moment where you decided this is something that I want to, now start looking at?
Frankly, I never tried. Journalism happened back in 2017
Hmm.
when we both are computer engineers, and I was working in the IT sector. And so I
Hmm.
wanted to study more. I wanted to get into marketing. But then the company I was working in back in 2017, I got the chance to work with people coming from IIM Lucknow, IIM Ahmedabad, different IIMs. So, and
Hmm.
I witnessed that, there wasn't much of a difference the way they wanted to live their life and the expectations that they had which weren't fulfilling for them. So then I thought, maybe MBA is it's not the thing for me. And so
Hmm.
I researched and I thought, maybe I could try communication, and that's how I gave an exam for journalism and I got through, went for the interview, and then I did my 2 years of mass communication specializing in journalism.
Hmm.
Political, I don't think politics happened. I have always been a curious guy, as you know.
Hmm.
30 years of music, because it happened only because that I wanted to do it. So
Hmm.
when journalism, I started working in different newsrooms. I went to the backside of the whole camera, right, into the
Hmm.
production part, into the writing part, managing social media, and so I got to learn a lot of stuff. I mean, politics was just one of the beats. I
Mm,
worked for, I wrote for tech. I wrote for automobile. I wrote for business. I
mm,
worked with Business Today magazine, their digital team
mm.
initially. So, I mean, yeah, tracking down different sort of news really helped, and eventually I understood that I had the information of so many different beats while working or while writing so many scripts. So yeah, I
Mm.
mean, not particularly politics, but then I realized that you know I wanted to write about a lot of other things as well, and politics was one of them.
No, but that's a good insight. But that's where my take comes in from a perspective of there's a song by Enrique. It's called Escape, where it sings like you can run, you can hide, but you can't escape my love.
I
We are back on track. Some technical difficulties, but that's what we are supposed to do. Learn and move on. Always used to happen when we used to play cricket. There were rains, but then we take a break, we come back again, and then we continue from where we left off. Like third ball, second over. So many runs to win. Okay, back in the game. So, Shailendra, again, thanks for sharing your input. Like I was telling you that it's been a while that I've known you as a person. You have grown, matured enough. Now you're a father, you're a husband. We are living our individual lives. The way we used to know each other, we were just kids playing with each other. But now we have our individual lives as well. So I just want to understand at this age, uh, like I know you're saying that you are a journalist now, you see all the sides, but personally, do you have any sides? Like I'm not going to directly ask you whether you have a left or right, whether you are a
right,
Congress or
right.
a BJP person, but I just want to understand if you know, like what principles do you actually stand for, and what issue would make you vote tomorrow that this is a party that I want to, endorse.
So interestingly, when I decided to join, I mean, I decided to start studying journalism. I mean, people used to ask me, now I would be getting the chance to make money, you know,
Hmm,
through corruption. And I mean, as because journalism is the fourth pillar of the constitution, so people still have this notion that journalists, they get paid to write biased articles and biased reporting. So very, I mean, initially only I got asked this question whether I mean, I would be working for a certain party, or I was lucky that I would be getting the chance to earn more now. I mean, the way we see it, the corruption money. But see,
hmm,
I the way I see journalism is very different. I never ask for any favors. Journalism is something that, I see to make people aware of how things are. See, when you are a journalist and you're working in a newsroom, believe me, you get to experience the country,
hmm,
how the country functions.
hmm,
And I believe this goes out to all the journalists working across the globe.
hmm,
They know what's going on in the
hmm,
country
hmm,
and on the global side, how the
hmm, hmm,
government is thinking, and how other countries' governments are also functioning, and what's the propaganda, what's the narrative, how the narrative is being set up. So, but at the end of the day, how do you want to function? I see a
hmm,
lot of journalists, they have a soft corner for certain parties, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just a part of principles that one follows. For me, I
hmm,
want to convey the information to the world.
hmm, hmm,
When I sit, I make videos, or in the newsrooms, when I write, I
hmm,
talk facts.
hmm,
But if I am discussing opinions, if I am laying down for the situation, I mean, I just recorded a video about this Cockroach Janta Party,
hmm,
my last video. I sat down, I discussed how things were looking, and because the genuine students were at stake.
hmm,
It wasn't just one party,
hmm,
be it Bharatiya Janata Party, Congress, or Cockroach Janta Party.
hmm,
I mean, for me, it was the students, the genuine students who thought. I mean, see, at
hmm,
the age of 16, 17, 18, 20, students don't know what the politics is all about, right?
hmm,
So
hmm,
the only thought I had in my mind, because I went through the same thought process
hmm,
back in the day. So I thought, let's just make a video and make those genuine students aware
hmm,
how the situations look like, what the things that get promised to students
hmm,
at their face, and at
hmm,
the same time, what is being done at the background, the narrative that gets played at the background. They
hmm,
should be aware of that as well. And
hmm,
so when the beatings happened, when on July 20th, when all of that fiasco happened of you know, children got beat up.
Hmm.
That compelled me to make the video, that somewhere down the line, the genuine students who actually suffered, they were not
Hmm.
able to figure out the propaganda narrative, and how what things were, how the things were being followed. I
Yeah.
mean, what exactly was going on. I wanted to make a video on that. So that's what
See,
I think. I mean, yeah.
yeah. See, that's a great input. Now, this is where, I personally got involved and I really wanted to talk to you because there's one side of me who also understands you in terms of where you emotionally come from. I know that some things that might hurt you and some things that might challenge your critical thinking and what we were discussing before the podcast, that probably everyone has to become a content creator right now at this stage because the perceptions and opinions have to come out. Now, my thought to this is, and why I was also asking you a question, that whether your biasness towards left or right is there or not. Because I heard it the hard way. Politics is a part of our life.
Hmm.
The way I was looking at this protest, this happened. I think it was almost now. By the way, as we speak, already Dharmendra Pradhan has resigned, but I think this is the 45th or 46th day of protests where this thing has happened. Now, before that, also the protest was happening. People were there. Kids were going at Jantar Mantar, but there was no such background noise. There was no media who was covering this. There were just a few social media handles who were, trying to get the story out of what was happening at Jantar Mantar. Honestly, even my interest was not there. Like, okay, it's just a general protest. And I am now in a pragmatic stage where I know that this is India. Now, if I talk about stats, I know for last 10 years, there have been like more than 11 lakh schools, government schools that have been shut down. They just shut down, which means
Hmm.
almost on an average of 24, 25 schools are getting shut down each and every day. And no one is talking about this. I know that there might be a situation of funding, but then how? Why people are not talking about this? So I was into a mindset that, no one even questions that, no one questions that, no one questions that. This will also, just go away because this is what our society has come to. They'll just protest, they'll go away. Then Sonam Wakchuk, he got into the protest. And then while he was there, I was okay. Things are getting serious. But then he got into Anshan. And then things were getting serious when it was 14, 15 day and he's not eating anything. Then it became a movement. And then I questioned that who exactly is Sonam Wangchuk and why is he fighting for education system? And then I saw there are so many people who are started to come out and they talk about NEET exams, which is something that you have to prepare for becoming a medical student, for pursuing MBBS. They are fighting for students who have to apply for NEET. And then the main agenda was paper leak. And then the main agenda came about, Dharmendra Pradhan has to resign because education system is failing. It is a very big movement where people started coming in and the political parties they actually triggered the fire now. Without this, the fire was not there. So I completely understand. But from where you are coming from, where I also come from, that, there is a mindset. But till the time the opposition party and anything opposition that doesn't trigger the movement, there is no way we can hit the government back. There is nothing that we individual citizens can do. No one will listen to us. The government is so powerful. So somewhere I realized that why content coming out from different opinions starts to matter. Because if people don't talk about it, the reality won't come out. And that's where my challenge is. So, first of all, again, kudos to you. But then, bro, everything is politics. We might have to choose sides. Now, you also mentioned one point, which I completely agree that I see everyone knows the stories. There's always a fair side, there's always a negative side. We might not take money, we might not be corrupt, but again, no matter what we say, corruption is in the blood of our entire system. Corruption happens everywhere. Everyone takes it. And that's how journalism, where I see it, is a very biased system in India. It's the mainstream media. Honestly, I don't even follow them. Like I listen to them and the first sentence they say is like a same old story. Like I can see through them, I can read through them. So mainstream media is one of the biggest challenge in India. So first of all, what's your take on mainstream media? Like, do you think that that's something, another problem that you see in India, or it's okay? Like we just as an individuals, we have to understand whether we have to see these channels or not.
There are two things I would touch upon. One thing is that people know that I am a journalist. What they don't know is where I come from. I'm a computer engineer, right?
Mm,
We were taught logics, right? The way a logical communication has to happen. Then I entered into in my engineering days, I got the chance to work with Microsoft's marketing team at the age of what, 20, 21. So I saw a different world for good 2 3 years. right? When I started pursuing music professionally in my third or fourth year of engineering, I have begged for gigs,
mm,
telling you things that people do not know. They just know one part of my personality, which is of a journalist. I've begged restaurants, for a single gig. When the band started off, I was one of the co-founders. It was a struggle, right? From zero to a certain point where I did reality shows and other stuff and music festivals and college fests. So this is a very large chunk of my life that people are not aware of, and
mm,
these are my principles because I consider myself as an artist. So when I entered into journalism, I did not enter into the profession as in just an individual or a graduate. I entered as an artist,
mm,
right? So that's one part of it. The other part is the mainstream media. When we talk of the mainstream media, when I started working, I started doing internship in 2019. I got the chance to work with, one of the top anchors that we have in the country. I stopped watching TV in 2017, 18. Believe at max when I started working in newsroom, I stopped watching television because I was one of the people who was producing the content. I was
mm,
feeding the content to the country.
mm,
You see, there's a certain narrative. So when you are working in a television media, you are told that these certain packages have to be prepared. We will be running them in the morning, then we'll have a certain topic to be discussed in the evening show, all of that prime time and stuff. I stopped watching television. But then, I thought, why are people still watching television media?
mm,
The answer was it was a certain or different sort of a generation that still watches media, television media.
mm,
So, in a way, the content that we see on television media, it may or may not be for people like you and me, but
mm,
the people who watch the television media, they like it. It is as simple as that. You go to a shopkeeper
mm,
who's switched on his television and watching some news channel. He likes
mm,
to watch it. He likes to watch
mm,
debates, and then he prefers having those debates with his friends or customers coming to the shop and henceforth.
mm,
So that is the clarity I got, initially while I was working in newsrooms. So
mm,
television media, my thought is the same. Television media doesn't cater, or television media industry doesn't cater to uh or to everybody,
mm,
is what I would say. It caters to a certain section of the society, a
mm,
generation that has lived, who has craved television back in the day.
mm,
Now,
mm,
now that they can afford it now,
mm,
they want to watch the television. They want to watch. Take an example. Our
mm,
mothers, most of the mothers, in our country, they still watch all these, daily soaps,
mm,
right? All these shows, and then they watch news channels also. They watch old movies also.
mm,
After 2014, 15, maybe I would say in the last 10, 12 years, we have seen our parents coming on the social media king accounts. Otherwise, we were the people who used to get scolded for, operating social media,
mm,
operating phones,
mm,
right? Your mother, my mother,
mm,
they have scolded us that why we were operating mobile phones back in the day. Now
mm,
when I see my mother operating mobile phone, I have this perception that this is what has changed you know over the years. Before 2010, we were scolded for operating phones, to be on phones, maybe playing music, for playing games. But after 2014, 15, when this geo revolution happened, people
mm,
got easy access to internet. Is what
mm,
I believe is when our parents also decided to get onto the social media and make accounts and get in touch with their friends. Now I see a lot of parents getting in touch with their childhood friends over Facebook, over WhatsApp, over I'm not sure of Instagram because it's still a very younger generation platform. The way we
mm,
used to have Facebook, Orkut,
mm,
right?
mm.
In the similar
Yeah.
manner, our parents are there on social media now creating accounts, and they want to get in touch with their older people, their friends, their families. So,
Mm,
all in all, coming back to your point that television media, this is what my perception is that television media may still be alive for next coming 5, 10, 15 years. Although things are changing,
mm,
people have started adapting to so many other AI and internet now. But yeah, as long as we've got our older generation with us,
mm,
The television media is gonna be there. I mean, who knows? Maybe our generation will start liking television news. We get fed
Hmm.
up with digital news in coming 5, 10 years.
Hmm.
With so many people now doing news and journalism, maybe we
Hmm.
want to go back, and the television media, it revolutionizes that. They make certain changes and it start presenting to our generation. Then we start liking television news channels again.
Hmm. No, I get your point, and I completely understand where you're coming from and your take on this because it's almost the same story. Like I come from the same background, uh, mindset, and same content that was shown and provided to us. But here's how things started to change for me, and here's how I feel things should start changing for India as well. First of all, there's a vertical, there's an industry which is media and communication.
Hmm.
Now, media and communication is a very big industry, and then there's a segment which is called journalism. Now, journalism
Hmm.
in itself has existed since humanity has come into existence, that you
Hmm.
have to tell this report to someone else. This is a news that has to go out. So journalism is here to stay as long as human civilization is going to stay. Now, coming on to media and communication, there were times even in our time we used to get newspapers daily. That newspaper vendor used to come and throw the newspaper on the second floor, first floor. We used to read. The medium has changed. The news now from print became more towards digital. It went more towards TV screens. Again, it's in our era. Like we don't even have to go back. For us, Doordarshan DD News was the only source of news that we used to get. But over the time, the channels started coming in. Aaj Tak came in, Z News came in, TV9 Bharat, Republic Bharat, like you just name it. There are so many channels when it comes to, in the news. My problem started when 2014, I voted for Narendra Modi. I literally voted for Narendra Modi. I didn't vote for BJP. I voted for a person because I liked his aura. I liked his charisma. I had my own problems with Congress. Now, I come from a democratic country where you can choose your government. I had so many good things about Congress, but then so many bad things about Congress as well. Like I used to like Manmohan Singh, but then there was a time I went to Commonwealth Games. I saw a Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was sitting right in front of me on the opposite side, and on the other side there was Gandhi family who was sitting. Sheila Dikshit was sitting on the other side, and we knew that the scam had happened. Commonwealth closing ceremony was marvelous, but then you can still realize that this could have been done better. And then there were so many scams that happened. So I realized it's time for change. Like these guys do not deserve to come back to the power again. And then they changed the face of, Congress as well, which was supposed to be Rahul Gandhi. And then that was the time I started looking at media. Then there was an interview that happened between Arnab Goswami and Rahul Gandhi, and that changed my entire perception about Rahul Gandhi. Like, is he the guy who's going to stand for the Prime Minister of India? No way. That was my opening statement of I need to start watching journalism, because I'm really thankful to Arnab Goswami that he drilled down Rahul Gandhi, and the way he started answering, I knew that this is not the person who probably I read about. This is not the person who I whatever information I get about Rahul Gandhi. He's not the same person. He's probably dumb. And then the narrative started coming out about Pappu, he being Pappu.
Hmm.
Now, I was new in the game of politics. I didn't understand media back then. I was just consuming the information. I voted for Narendra Modi. 2014 went well. 2015 was fine. We had our own professional journey as well. Things were happening. 2016, demonetization happened. And I was like, wait, what? And that was the time I was starting to understand the finances of the world as well, like how the GST will work. GST is also coming into place. I was getting to learn about the taxes. I was learning to learn about how should I invest. My father has done something, but now what about my wealth? How to save? What about my future? What about my things that I want to do? Because now I'm an independent person. I have my own salary income. So I can live my life with my own salary. I don't have to live by the rules of my parents or uncles and aunties and neighbors. It's my life. I was thinking about this, and then the demonetization happened. I was like, okay, this is new. And then the way demonetization played, by the way, I was working for Hindustan Times back then. I was working on the digital segment, but then it was a media house. And Hindustan Times suffered a big loss because they were anti-BJP. Times of India was on side of BJP. So they hit a loss, and then they had to close few of their segments and departments. But that was the transition moment that I started looking at them. Since then, I realized there's a drift of mainstream media trying to showcase the news and trying to do something about why the current government is good. But my question arises that 2016, when demonetization happened, that I need to take a look of what this government is actually doing. By the way, I worked for Minister of Electronics and IT back in 2019 as well. I won't talk about this because it's again it's a conflict of interest as well. that things that we did, things we are not supposed to do, things are we supposed to do. So that's a conflict of interest. I'll park that thought. But things started changing for me about the government of India. I do not have any problem with mainstream media. I, in fact, love that there are multiple channels to give out the news to people. My problem started happening when I realized, like you said, that we come from engineering background. There are critical thinking and reasoning that by default we are supposed to do. India is a place where we have 1.3 billion people. Now, out of these 1.3 billion people, there are cities, tier 1 city, tier 2 city, tier 3 city, metropolitan cities. Delhi, keep aside. Mumbai, keep aside. Kolkata, keep aside. Then comes the tier 1 city, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. And you're absolutely bang on when you said that there is still a major amount of India that still watches television, that still relies on conversations, what's happening on TV, that still relies on the debate which is happening about, General Bakshi is scolding that person that what have you done in the army and what's going on in the military, how our democracy is changing. This is where my question started arriving, because then I can see there's only one side of the story which is being shown to the majority of the audience, because that's massive population which is still looking at television. Now this gives two opportunities. One, criticize them that you got 10 channels, at least one channel should be talking about the other side. Why is no one talking about the other side? And see, talking about the other side is not wrong. It is democracy of India. When we choose an opposition party, that's also our political party. We have chosen them to be in the cabinet ministers, to be in the parliament, to talk about our issues. We just didn't choose that particular person as the prime minister of India. We didn't choose you, and that's why you lost. We choose them. But then we choose them, it doesn't mean that we cannot question them. And my problem started that we have to question them. You're doing good job, but when you're not doing good job, we have to question you. But the power misutilization started happening. You cannot question us. Why not? Journalism will question you. And journalism is the, I think, biggest brahmastra that we have. We have 7, 8 channels. Media is something that will question you, and they stopped questioning. And then it's a problem. Like, what? Then who else will question? And then there's no space. And that's where I see that there's an opportunity for content creators. That if there's a problem, like I just told you, there were 11 lakh schools closed in last 10 years for government school. Education builds a community, a society, a country. And you're closing down government schools. Do you know how many people, how many lakhs, in fact, billions of people are still not privileged to go to a private school? You still have to provide them education, and you're closing these government schools. Education is what we are made today, Shailendra. We all know that our parents come from a humble background. They would have given something to us to a certain extent, but because we got a better education, then we can go and take a next step. These kids are not getting the second opportunity because there are no schools, and we even know the places in India which are almost tribal. Education is so important, and that's where things started heating up in my mind that things have to change. And I love content creators for that you have to take, at least talk about something which mainstream media is not talking about. Yeah, so that's the case. And now a question to you is, when you make your videos, is it, you're not endorsed by anyone, right? It's your personal channel. You have your own opinions, or do you still work for some channel as well?
So I'll add to your previous thought. So I
Hmm.
remember one time I was at one of my, one of the places some event was happening, and I was at somebody's residence, and I mean the point that I get to hear a lot, that the moment I introduce myself that I'm a journalist, people say that you guys have sold the country. There
Hmm.
was this one gentleman. He was a bit drunk, but then the
Hmm.
party mode and all of that stuff. I was just standing, and I joined them. There were some 5 6 people on the balcony, and this guy asks me that, what do you do? I said that I'm a journalist, and then he said the golden words that, you guys are selling the country.
Hmm.
So I told him that, believe me, the kind
Hmm.
of things that we journalists see, the raw things, the feed that we get in newsrooms,
Hmm.
if we are not there and we start feeding to the general audience straight away, the way they come to us,
Hmm.
you would stop eating your food,
Hmm.
you would stop living in your country.
Hmm.
I have seen the raw footage. I mean, let's take an example. Let's say if somebody dies in an
Hmm.
accident, we get the exact footage, how many parts he,
Hmm.
the person's body has been chopped up, if
Hmm.
the skull has crushed or not.
Hmm.
What the general audience sees is the blurred part.
Hmm.
Who blurs the footage? The editor.
Hmm.
So the producer and the editor get to watch the raw footage.
Hmm.
So this was what I conveyed to the gentleman, that if
Hmm.
journalists stop doing their work, believe me, the
Hmm.
people would stop living in the country. They will start getting in
Correct.
panic and start running away from the country.
Hmm.
Another thing is that we must understand. Let's say the government changes tomorrow. There
Hmm.
is no BJP government. The Congress hijacks, or let's say, they take the charge of the central, as the central government. Will the journalists stop working? Will the
No.
news channels
Hmm.
will the news channels stop reducing content? Mark my words. I mean, and I see this, I understand, because I've seen fights and in a very friendly manner in newsrooms, that somebody supports Congress and the other person supports BJP. They have a very friendly banter and for good 30-40 minutes, but at the end of the day, they shake hands and they go back their own, ways and start working whatever they were doing.
Hmm.
Doesn't really matter if which party forms the central government, or it is sitting as in the center. The journalists will be doing their work.
Hmm.
So the way I understand, if people think that tomorrow the government changes and some other party forms the government, the journalists will remain the same, the channel will be the same, the show will be the same, the news will
Hmm.
be the same. You get my point? So
See,
at the
see,
end
I'll
of
tell
the
you.
at
Hmm.
the end of the day, I mean, I'm not defending any party. I'm not saying that, I mean, BJP is good or Congress is good. I have a very different perspective as a journalist, and for the journalists, I am defending a certain part of this journalist faction
Hmm.
who work hard in newsrooms,
Hmm.
right? Who give their good 10, 12, 15 hours in a day.
Hmm.
And this is what I learned. Once you become a journalist and you start adapting, or you start calling yourself a journalist,
Hmm.
the news is not news anymore for you.
Hmm.
You breathe, you live information.
Hmm.
If I am talking to you and if you are feeding me some information, that is also information. If I go on Twitter and somebody posts about Cockroach Janta Party, that is also information. And if I switch on the television, I watch some television channel, if they are also feeding me news, that is also information to me.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I've seen a good amount of good journalists working their ass off, and so that the audience, the people who are expecting something out of this journalism industry, they still have
Hmm.
that trust going.
See, one thing, you just used the right word, and I'll come from a perspective of citizen. And so, first, you said the word trust. Now, India is a very high trust society. It
Yeah,
literally works on trust.
yeah.
There are contracts who are given on trust. That, Arey, I trust you and then you can do this job. It is not a skill based society, it is a trust based society. No matter you're
Hmm.
coming from IIM Indore, you're coming from IITs, but then if I don't know you, if I don't trust you, I won't allow you to work. So
Hmm.
I see that as a challenge as well. But again, let's keep that side parked. But now,
No, no. So the
see,
problem of the problem, I mean, this problem arises, and I firmly believe this. One of the biggest problems of our country is population.
hmm,
Population.
hmm,
The place where you are sitting right now,
hmm,
the problem may or may not be the problem.
hmm,
Because when we see developed countries, when we say these are certain developed countries, look at the population that they're managing.
hmm,
Then people will say that there is China also.
hmm,
But then see how how China is governing their citizens,
hmm,
right? The kind of government that is there. Will
hmm.
that sort of government work in our country? The answer is no. So
No.
all in all, and I believe the major problems that our country faces, the answer to that is the population.
See again, it's we'll divert a little from this, but population 100% is a problem, and I have an answer to this also. But I'll come back to in some time. Actually, I'll address this one first thing. Have you seen the show Panchayat by any chance? So there's this one dialect which I'm forgetting, that "bacche do hi अच्छे तीसरा something bawasir something" that he wrote, and then there was an entire conversation, and that guy was banished from the village just by writing about the third kid. But the fact is, like I said, India is a high dress society. India is also very emotional society. Now, at a very I won't say young age, early in my career, I realized one thing, that charity begins at home. I completely 100% agree to this. India's population is one of the biggest problem that we are facing. as a civilization. And then I decided I'm not going to have a kid. And this was my personal decision because I realized, and I told this to whosoever I was dating, that I'm not going to have kid because I'm patriotic, by the way. And then we'll discuss patriotism as well. That everyone discusses and thinks about patriotism in a certain way. And I will tell you how my patriotism is completely different from who people think that nationals and who actually talks about nationality. So I decided I'm not going to have a kid because we already have so many people. I will not contribute anything by having a baby. It's my personal choice because people, when they like, I don't know whether when you become a father, you think that, this is something that this kid is going to help India become something. No, it's very personal thought. And then I decided I'm going to contribute in the population of India by not contributing. One thing. Second, I also had a problem with weddings that, these big fat weddings that started happening. There is traffic jam that started creating on those roads of Sector 14, all these. That was also one of my things, that charity begins at home. I'm changing this narrative in my house that marriages will not happen like this. I was a rebel and then I created a lot of havoc. And you won't even imagine the kind of fights I had to deal with. I'm talking about people from UP. Like every society, every chacha, every tau, every mosa I had to fight with. This is not something that I'm doing. And then at times you are one of those childs that who are being looked down by everyone, that, oh, what is happy going to do, what is happy going to do, oh, it's time, we are going to celebrate Happy's wedding. And then I'm the rebel. So you are not only rebelling with one person, you're actually rebelling with the society. So I completely agree, population is a problem, there are so many problems, and that's exactly what my problem with people like those also is, who started questioning journalism because he doesn't understand journalism. You are talking to a person who is working in the field of journalism. He is not mainstream media. First, you understand, who do you have a problem with? Do you have a problem with the channel? Is he representing that channel? Then fuck off. That's not the answer that you are looking for. I have a problem with journalists and you are making the country bad. Bro, I have a problem with you. You are making the country bad, and I can prove like 1,000 points that why journalist is not the problem, but you individual is a problem. How much tax are you paying? I am still paying tax more than so many people. I'm not even consuming the services of India. I'm still paying the road tax. I'm still paying cess. I still have to submit it. 31st is the last date. I'm still doing it, which is, so am I an anti-national? No. If I'm talking about the government of India. Now, you actually made a very good point that what if, the government changes? Now, this is where I feel we as a democracy chooses this thing, that you cannot change the government overnight by just throwing them out of power. They come by election. They come by choosing them. So if Congress throws them out of power, which means democracy has chosen an opponent that, you are going to fight with me. And why we are doing this is because I am doing my own job. I'm contributing to India by working my ass off in journalism. I will give my taxes. You go in the parliament to fight for my rights. I am a construction worker. I will give my taxes. You take my money, bring me the roads so that I can take my kid back to school, get them on a safer road, take the transportation charge. You do it. Again, one of my concerns are both our father, they come from Hero MotoCorp, automotive industry, have a major problem with how the ethanol is coming in India. By the way, it's not a problem, to be honest. Brazil has already done it. They have done E20 and they're probably moving towards E80. That's not a problem. The problem is the implementation. Because 100% I can tell that there is so much corruption involved in this. This was supposed to happen in 2030. The time people who are owning the cars and two-wheelers right now have the cars used for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then it's time to change. And then they'll get the vehicles which are compatible with E20 or E80. But now the petrol has come in. And now that has come in, it will impact your cars and vehicles. There's another problem to it. Although I'm diverting my topic, but ethanol has another problem to it. Now the cost per barrel for petrol has reduced. And now you have introduced ethanol also, which is much cheaper. But the cost of petrol hasn't reduced in India. Who is going to ask this question? Someone is going to ask this question, but no one is asking this question. And same happened with the protest thing. That if education is a problem, I know Dharmendra Pradhan has resigned, but the problem hasn't solved yet. Someone has to ask these questions. And that's why journalism is also creating a lot of space for so many people to just ask the right questions. I don't have a problem with the ruling party. I have a problem with them for not answering the questions. And if you can't answer, we'll bring the next government. And if they can't answer, we'll ask the same questions to them again. That's where I feel journalism is the strongest weapon that a democracy should have. We completed 70 years, 78 years of independence. America just completed their 250 years of independence. So I completely understand where they're coming from. They have all these histories. They have done and dusted these things. Today, Fox, CNN, all these, they are not CBS network. They didn't become what they are today. They grill Donald Trump in and out daily. They keep him in check. And that's what journalism is supposed to do. Keep your acting prime minister and the entire party in check. That, see, we selected you, but are you doing your work? Same thing when we're talking about population. We are a different country, different economy, absolutely. China is almost 1.4, 1.3 billion as well. And they are almost populated towards the east coast. West is completely empty. There's no population there. But the way China is handling it, it's completely different. And China is way more bigger than India when it comes to landscape. There are so many issues. So that's why I'm saying that you're absolutely right. But then individuals like those are also problem, and the dialogue has to be done to them. That first understand what journalism is, first understand where the journalist is coming from, where people are working, which department they're working, and solve the problem, man. Just understand what the problem is and solve the problem.
Yes. So let's understand whichever party comes at the center, right? They have their restrictions, something they
Mm,
like, something they don't. The things they don't like, they may differ
mm,
and they will act defensive on those topics. For the current government at the center, it could be the topics that you've mentioned, ethanol, maybe the education, and people say that, they have this observation about this government is that they don't like to talk much or have this press conferences going, and they don't like the dialogue happening too much. People have this
mm,
notion, this observation about the current government, but the way I see it, even if it changes overnight and Congress or some other party, let's say Aam Aadmi party, comes into the power, they will
mm,
have their topics, certain topics as well, on which they will be defensive, right? So my point is, whichever party makes the government or forms the government at the center, they will act defensive on the points they are not comfortable with.
mm,
There is no one party which can be 100% okay with. I mean, let's take a look at the opposition functioning at the state level.
mm,
They're good examples. Point number two. So, I mean, when I say journalist, why I'm talking about journalists? When I was working at yesterday back in 2019, I I I mean, this COVID happened, I believe, in November 2019,
yeah,
when it came into this, the COVID happened in China.
mm,
So me and my boss had the information that COVID was, it had started in the country. We did not
mm,
know that it was going to be this big, but by January of 2020, we started producing the content, digital content, and it started reaching 7 million, 8 million, 9 million views.
mm,
Believe me, I had dreams of, of those visuals, and those were some very bad visuals when
mm,
I watched them back in 2019, 20. And I was so scared that if this came into India,
mm,
what would happen?
mm,
Luckily, the government, I mean, the way it functioned, I'm not going to comment on that. But, I had this information for good 3, 4 months in my head.
mm,
I was not only living, I was dreaming about those visuals.
mm,
People in the country started experiencing the bad part of COVID from maybe May, because the lockdown happened in March. So in April, May, June, there was so much of panic all of time. So this is what a good faction, I'm talking about a faction of journalists who actually work, who genuinely work. This is what they carry, right?
mm,
A certain government, if the government changes, the work doesn't get changed.
mm,
The reporter will go for the ground reporting. The researcher will continue researching about news.
mm,
The anchor will keep on anchoring the show. So
mm,
this was what I was trying to convey, that the government, I mean, see, whatever is happening in the country right now, believe me, it is not going to change much, even if you change the party overnight, because,
mm,
as I said, one party's defensive pointers may or may not be another party's defensive pointers. But other parties, the one which is going to be at the center, their
mm,
defensive pointers could be different, and they can start acting defensive on those pointers. And then again, it will come down to media only, that media is not questioning on those certain points. Media is not questioning, or it's not showing the raw or much of information about a certain news,
mm,
right? So it's an experience. So see, journalism is an experience.
mm,
And believe me, while when I entered into this profession, I was already coming from music. I
mm,
saw camera, I saw stage, I saw sound, I saw, audio engineers working for larger sounds. I was part of reality shows and fests. So I knew a good part of production.
mm,
But when I saw what other things they they are required for news production. So
Hmm.
it's quite fascinating. I mean, it's just an experience. It's a learning that one experiences while working in the journalism industry.
So I'll actually, this is a topic that we can continue discussing on it. It's more of a Saturday night conversation thing that, keep talking about. But so I just want to end this conversation by understanding, your point of view that do you think India today is heading in the right direction, or should we be worried about the way things are happening? Like if the government continues to run like this, it's okay, or do you think the change is supposed to happen? Now, I'm not asking from a journalism point of view, but from a citizen point of view. That things need to change, something needs to upgrade, or we are okay. And you also believe in the numbers which the reports come out that India is one of the largest growing economy. The GDP is this, but I read the numbers to the lowest level possible. I don't just
Hmm.
read the report. I go down and see, oh, okay, GDP. You mean the goods and services sold? Okay, tell me which goods have been sold. Tell me which services. Now there's okay. Now that we are discussing this, slight topic as well, goods and services. India has been growing because of the IT sector, but now the entire transformation is happening towards AI, and now the battle is between US and China about who leads the battle of AI. Now
Hmm.
AI works on so much data and data processing. Now data processing happens when data centers are there. Now there's a problem of data centers, and when you make a data center there is going to be a water crisis because it consumes a lot of water to just store that amount of data. India is now getting into the race. We already have a water problem in India for so many cities, major cities. Delhi, Yamuna has almost dried out. My question gets down to the deeper level that as a citizen of India, if I have to come down and I have to retire here, is this going to be a livable place? I'll say no right now. Because my problem is no one is thinking about it. The problem is not whether these people are working, that people are working or not, but then it's a generational change that you'll see. Now, if our parents would have not given us the cable network, we would have never learned the education. You think we learned it from just going and talking about, just having conversations in school? No. We got the access of television. I saw Spider-Man in English. I saw Avengers in English. I started reading the subtitles. Then we understand the language. This is a generational change that will happen. And that's where I'm concerned, not even concerned. Like, I get happy when a movement of something that sort of happens, where people starts questioning my best, you know, my heart gets filled when people question that, oh, why is this happening? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's solve one problem first. Get rid of education minister, then we'll solve the other problem. And why I was becoming against mainstream media was because they were not supporting the battle. They are okay with what's happening. So that's what my entire take on this is. So just wanted to take your opinion on whether you think things are getting into the right direction now, or you feel, what do you see India in next 10 years, to be honest?
Honestly, as a citizen, I don't care much. I mean,
Uh,
in one sentence, because it is not my job. I have not
uh,
applied for that position. I have not contested elections. If I, let's say, I am an employee working in a certain company, our fathers worked in the company that you mentioned for a good amount of years. Right? They saw different governments and so many different situations. Their primary role was to work and feed the family. Did inflation not happen over the years? It happened.
hmm,
Did things not change? It changed. So what I'm trying to say is it is not my responsibility to think and have this notion in my head that I am going to change this country.
hmm,
It is the responsibility of the person who has contested elections, who has the right position, and who is getting the facility. The politicians, they get facility to think. They have planes,
hmm,
they have whatnot. Why do they have all these facilities? So that they can have the country functioning in the right direction.
interesting take.
I tried making a video on this Cockroach Janta
Hmm,
Party.
hmm,
I tried
hmm,
my bit on
hmm,
informing youngsters, kids from 15 to 22-year old.
hmm,
The my video was for that age group only, 15 to
hmm,
22-year old kids.
hmm,
What I got in return? How much money have you received from the government? 50,000, right? Why don't you go and experience this CJP protest? Why should I experience?
hmm.
The age that I come from, the age group I come from, I have seen plenty of protests.
Makes sense.
I have seen Anna Andolan. I have so many I have so many friends who visited the Andolan back in the day.
Hmm,
Let's just see how it turned out now in 2026. The
hmm,
trust point that you mentioned, people
hmm,
trusted so many politicians in the
Hmm.
last 20, 30 years. Problem of trust deficiency is because it did not get them, to the place where they expected they would reach. And hence
Hmm.
people, they give up. They don't want to put their head into the stuff anymore that, we are going to change the country.
Hmm.
The country will function because I believe every country has got their culture going.
Hmm.
Every country has the culture on which that particular country functions.
Hmm.
So this will keep on going. They will have different parties may or may come at the center. They will function. They will keep on running the country. We will see inflation. We will keep on talking about GST and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I am not getting money to run that
Hmm.
country. My primary job was to take care of my family, to have
Hmm.
my parents taken care of. The moral responsibility as a journalist is to inform people
Hmm.
the right things, the facts, so
Hmm.
that people be more aware. I may know things way more than most of the people in
Hmm.
a journalistic sense. So, what my responsibility is? My responsibility is to make them aware in the simplest language possible.
Yeah.
So, coming to your point, I mean, yeah, I don't have to think much. Why do I have to think much? Because again, population,
Hmm.
more the population, you will have more people having different sort of perspectives, those many perspectives being shared, right?
Hmm.
And when you say that the country doesn't have so many data centers, because there are so many people to question, there are so many people to come against so many different moves that the government takes, and the government, be it any party, they go round and round
So
those
just to address
subjects.
this part, so that's a different problem. We don't have time, but on this, but data centers are being built in India. That's a problem. So I'll talk about this
See,
in a separate,
in the
yeah.
past 1 month, people have uh, they've used their energies on this Cockroach Janta
Hmm.
Party.
Hmm.
I I mean, there must be genuine reasons. There must be genuine. I mean, there were genuine students participating in the protest. This may resolve 30-40%, or let's say 20-30% of the education problem.
Hmm.
But see, in 1 month,
Hmm.
where were there any other places where the government could have invested their energies,
Hmm.
right? There
Hmm.
were. It is the population. Because if I make you the prime minister tomorrow and you take a
Hmm.
decision on a certain topic, believe me, you will have thousands or lakhs of people standing against it, because it is
Hmm.
the process, the culture that the country is coming
Hmm.
from. They have got comfortable with it.
Hmm.
They don't want that comfort zone to change,
Hmm.
because
No, makes sense.
you understand, I understand, as an artist it is very
Hmm.
difficult to, how difficult it is to uh, struggle to have that struggle going in a certain profession.
Hmm.
So
No,
a
makes sense.
majority of this country is comfortable where they are. It is just they keep on arguing and sending out their messages, sitting at home or maybe some place, and they have that notion going that, the country is functioning, it will keep on functioning. This general
Hmm.
stance that we must have heard plenty of times, each country chal rahi hai वैसी चलती रहेगी, nothing will change. It is only because people have suffered enough in the past 20-30 years.
Thank you so much for taking out time. I really want to have a part two, part three, or we can have these conversations as and when needed. Second, congratulations on what you are doing right now. Like this really fills my heart, not as only a person who consumes your content, but as someone who treats you like a brother. Like I've literally played with you. I remember the Shailendra from like I used to carry at you at times. Like I remember you from your 3, 4. So congratulations, well done, and just keep doing your work. Forget about this hate and whatever this is, because treat me like an elder brother as well. Whosoever is coming at you will come at me as well. So fuck them off. Like I don't care, because individually you are a person as well. You are just doing your
Hmm.
job. Journalism is doing its job. I'm doing my own job. Everyone is patriotic in their own way. Let's just be good and let's see what change can we make, because eventually we have a limited time during this timeline
I
and we
want to
just want to
talk
live better.
more about. I mean, if I mean, let the people comment if they would want us to discuss on mental health also. I have
Yeah.
plenty of pointers on mental health as well. And
Yeah.
the way, I mean, when I said that I want to share the information, I want people in the world to
Yeah.
acknowledge, especially in my country, to acknowledge the real problem of mental health.
Absolutely.
Mental health
You said
is a
population. That's what I'm saying. Like it's everything is like population, mental health. Health in general, physical health is such a problem. Cholesterol,
Mental health
diabetes,
is a curse that our country is gonna see or is gonna experience in the coming 10, 15 years, more of it.
absolutely. It
So
already is probably.
I would want people to comment if they would want us to discuss on mental health, and I would be
Perfect.
more than happy to have that conversation going.
Perfect. We'll have this conversation again. Thank you so much for your time. I'll mention the comments of your channel in the comment section in the description as well. Your YouTube channel, your Instagram handle, and let's have another conversation another time. You till
Thank you
that
so
time.
much for having me. And I mean, yeah, it's been long that we had this conversation, but thank you so much for having me. I'm happy that we had this conversation, and hopefully we'll get to talk more about other topics as well.
Thank you, brother. Thanks again. Enjoy your weekend. Happy weekend.
Cheers.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Happy
Bye.
weekend. Bye bye.